Hello and welcome to the Collapse Experiment. Oddly different location. The kids are home, it's spring break. I have to make do. So, 2008 is happening again. A recent person that was on Timcast named Tiffany Cianci? Cianci. C-I-A-N-C-I. I'm pretty sure that's how you might pronounce that. If I'm wrong, I am sorry. But she did some research discovering why all of these companies are going bankrupt. We're talking about like weird companies that shouldn't be, like Hooters. How is Hooters not profitable? However, this reminds me a lot of 2008, considering, picture back to Enron. And Enron was the precursor to all of this bullshit that is happening right now. And 2008, like I think Enron was what, 2005, 2006? It was kind of like the canary in the coal mine as to like what was going on at all these different corporations. I remember a helicopter view of a mansion being built, and one of the top CEOs of Enron had taken out a $500 million loan. He borrowed it from the company. I don't know how this exactly works, but for some reason, he's able to just take money out and say, I'll put it back to build a mansion. Now, the thing is, that dude knew what was happening with the company. There's a reason he took out $500 million, because he knew he wouldn't have to pay it back. He was building his retirement home after the company went under. Were people prosecuted? Some were. There's an awful lot of burning in barrels and shredding going on when the company folded. Kind of hard to get some evidence when that's happening. So anyways, the difference between what is happening now and 2008. 2008, kind of narrow that down into a small little bubble. A bunch of bad mortgages are bundled together into these little packages, and those packages were sold to things like pension and retirement funds. Cities and county governments bought them, and it was not good for anyone because those mortgages were shit. Watch The Big Short. That'll clue you in as to what happened in 2008. What's happening now? Okay, you've got these private equity firms who are buying large amounts of stocks to the point where they get to become board members on these companies. And as board members, they get to take out loans in the name of the company. It doesn't mean that the loan itself is going towards anything beneficial to the company. It's just that a loan is being taken out in the name of. And these are adjusted rate mortgages, basically, essentially. They're adjusted rate loans, which means anytime the interest rate goes up, the company, not the person who's on the board, but the company itself has to pay the interest on that loan. And currently, because of what these people are doing, there's over $3 trillion of these adjustable rate loans that are sitting out there that are causing these companies like Jo-Ann Fabrics and Hooters and all kinds of others to freaking go bankrupt when they should be profitable. So, these loans, just like with the mortgages, are being bundled up in these little packages. And these packages are called CLOs. And these CLOs are being sold to primarily pension plans. Now, in the initial video on Tiffany's channel, she doesn't mention specifically who, but on Timcast, she said, after digging and doing some more research, that especially Michigan-based auto unions the UAW has been purchasing these things. Now, it's not just the big three that's going to be affected by this with their pension plans and their union workers no longer being able to retire because there's not going to be any money there for them. This is also affecting other companies like UPS, who's part of the UAW. I don't think any of these people know, because I work for UPS. And these drivers who drive for 20, 25 years, expecting there to be a nice, handy little pension at the end of that time, are going to end up like the GM workers back in 2009, who are told you can either retire early now and get 60% of what you were promised when you started here 20 years ago, or you can stick around and maybe get a little bit more. What if we throw in a truck? Can we just throw in a truck? Will you take that if we throw in a truck? These were legitimate plans that were given to GM workers. My uncle is one of them. You're going to find that, except UPS workers, what are they going to get? What about a watch? Can we give them a watch? So yeah, pension plans, the UAW, why Michigan gets screwed. We always get screwed, always. Short-sighted people running companies. It's everywhere, but for some reason, we are the shortest-sighted people out of like the 50 states. Like nobody thinks ahead at all, ever. So aside from the pensions not existing anymore, depending on how much of it was invested into these shit bonds is basically what they are, right? You also have the stores that are closing, like profitable places. Again, Hooters, Joann Fabrics, Michaels was one of them, right? You had these stores that should be making money, but then because of what they're paying on these loans, for no reason other than some dickhead bought some stocks, got on the board, and then just started pulling money out of the company, right? Essentially, that's what happened in these cases. And then those debts were sold off to pension plans. But in order for these companies to pay the interest on these stupid loans, they have to cut corners. So they're closing stores here, which means these people lose their jobs over here. That's going to hit the housing market, because if they don't have jobs anymore and there's nowhere for them to go to, there's nothing to pick up the slack on what they were making previously at their other job. They either have to sell or leave their house if there's still a mortgage on it. So you're either going to have the housing market, which prices might actually drop, and you're going to think that's a good thing. But with the number of people who are going to be losing their jobs, who's going to be able to afford to buy these houses if there's no money coming in to begin with? And the last note here that I have is, this is all thanks to Bill Clinton, who got rid of the Glass-Steagall Act, which was one of the safety measures. After World War II, we had the Bretton Woods agreements, where all these people are trying to make sure they got together. Some very bright people, by the way, got together and said, hey, this whole Great Depression thing, that really sucked. How can we make sure that never happens again? What if we do pension plans and it's funded by the corporations and the people, they put their money into it, and the more they put in, the more they get out? Well, how do we protect that? They can't invest it. So Glass-Steagall prevented these pension plans from being invested into things like the stock market, where everybody lost their shit in 1929. Everyone, pension plans included. So what did Clinton do? I think it's fine to screw over the American people. we're going to sign this in effect because you can get 15% annually on average increase instead of waiting on interest rates to go up. Except if you have it in an account that relies on interest rates, you don't have to worry about losing your money. So yeah, Clinton legalized the ability for pension plans to be gambled on the stock market because statistically you can get 15%. No one's ever talking about when the whole freaking market crashes, and unlike the assholes at the top who see what's happening and can bail out early, pension plans, who's selling the junk? Oh no, they're just stuck with it. They're stuck with the junk, which means pension plans are essentially worthless at the end of a crash. That's where we're at. That's the good news for today. Yay! On the upside, Trump, and no, I don't like talking about Trump on my channel because it's very divisive, and but I will have to say, I have to add this. He has been talking about making it illegal for things like this to happen. That you just can't have these private equity groups coming in and pulling money out of these companies just because they bought some stock. Like, there's got to be some regulation to this because essentially you have people who have absolutely no investment in the company other than, oh, we dished out some money, and then they just start ransacking the place. In the words of Bill Burr, free Luigi. Keep on typing.